It's the way the early morning air stings your face. It's the warmth you feel when that first light finds you through the trees. It's that gut feeling you have that out there, just a little further, he's coming. And you know it's prime time. Your heart quickens its pace as the sound of crushing leaves comes closer and closer. Your eyes dart back and forth, straining to capture the slightest movement until he arrives. Antlers appear through the brush, and behind them, the buck you've waited for all year. Welcome to Prime Time. Prime Time is celebrated by whitetail hunters everywhere, and the Hunter Specialties Pro staff is no exception. Together, they have hunted whitetails in nearly every region of North America, compiling volumes of experience along the way. Eddie Salter of Evergreen, Alabama. Alex Rutledge of Birch Tree, Missouri. Red Wing, Minnesota's Steve Puppe. Greg Miller of Bloomer, Wisconsin. Tom Miranda of Inglewood, Florida. Bob Foulkrod of Troy, Pennsylvania. With a special appearance by Wayne Carlton of Montrose, Colorado. And Carman and David Forbes of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. If you remember a time your heart was racing, then you know Prime Time. If you've ever tried to catch your breath while clinging to your tree stand, then you've been to Prime Time. If you've ever watched the buck of your dreams make that last turn into your shooting lane, then you know there's no time like Prime Time. Welcome to PRIMETIME BUCKS Volume 2. PRIMETIME BUCKS Volume 2 is brought to you by API Outdoors, America's leader in tree stand technology. Golden Eagle Satellite Archery, America's most accurate bows and broadhead systems. Gerber Legendary Blades, a worldwide tradition in cutting-edge technology. Rocky Shoes and Boots, the real deal since 1932. Realtree, the makers of Realtree Extra. If it looks real, it's Realtree. Simmons, Rifle Scope Headquarters. And by Hunter Specialties, for sportsmen, by sportsmen. Primetime Bucks begins with the Hunter Specialties cameras joining veteran outdoorsman Eddie Salter in Mississippi. Eddie's outdoor skills have been well documented in the pages of many hunting magazines. But while most people know him for his turkey calling prowess, his talents when focused in pursuit of whitetails are equally as sharp. It's early in the hunting season, and the temperatures are as high as the midday sun.
You know, we had a front to come in, and what sign, it quit raining last night. The sign that we see this morning is going to be real fresh, and a lot of times that makes it easier for the hunter, because you know the deer are really using that particular area if it's tracks there. One thing about scouting too that I like to be as much scent free as possible. I always like to wear gloves, just like I'm preparing myself to go hunting. Looks like we're right here in a big belt of agriculture area where farming, where they got soybeans planted, and it's just so much natural food here. And looking along the edge of the woods, we got greenbrier, just so many vines and natural food. And a lot of times when these farmers come in and they plant the fields here, the runoff of the fertilizer ends up building up around the edge of the field. So naturally, it's going to be more protein there. And so I've always found a lot more sign around the edges of these fields. All right, got some water here. I tell you, these rubber rocky boots, they come in good. Get your feet wet. You get your feet wet, but I tell you, you can be miserable during a hunting or scouting or whatever. All right, now that's something we're looking for. Well, that means that's a good buck right there. He's coming here rubbing a tree like that. He's been hitting these little ones over here. Hey, I think I need to get me a tree pretty close by here, because I know this buck's coming in and he's spending some time here. This is his living room. This is what we're looking for right here. All right. Gotta be real quiet going in here. You don't want to make too much noise. I like to grunt about every 15 or 20 minutes. Hopefully a deer behind me may pick it up and come out. See what's going on. He's a good little small buck. Hopefully a bigger one will come along. One thing about it, he walked right in the same trail we come in on, so our scent system was working this morning. I think I made a good hit, man. All that work paid off me. I knew we was in a good setup. All right. Looks like I got a pass through. Oh, it broke off in him. But that's okay. All right, that's what we're looking for. See if we can get out here and find some blood. There's a little blood right there. I couldn't believe he turned down that road. Boy, he gave me a beautiful shot. Here's a little blood right here. I watched him go in right here. I think right here's where he entered the woods. There's a little blood. You know, when you're looking for deer, a lot of times you don't want to go past your blood too much. Here's a little blood right here. get in too big a hurry, a lot of times that you end up getting off the trail. Some more blood. All right, yonder he is, all right. All right. Boy, we were lucky on this deal. If that doe hadn't turned and come down that road, I don't know if that buck would have turned and hit that trail. We had scouted that area out. Had to slow down here. We had scouted that area out real hard, and it was a funnel between two soybean patches. And a white oak tree dropping right there, I knew it was a lot of good sign right there. With a lot of rubs, a lot of scrapes right there. I tell you, that's a fine buck for me. I couldn't ask for a better hunt.
Tom Miranda has been on the Hunter Specialties Pro staff for several years and helped in the development of many of the primetime scents and lures. As the host of his own television program on ESPN and through his work as a former government trapper, Tom has developed a style of whitetail hunting all his own. On this hunt in Ohio, Tom is faced with a difficult prospect.
Standing crop fields like this, it's one of the key reasons it's tough early season to harvest whitetail deer, because there's food everywhere and the deer don't have to go far to find it. In fact, a family of whitetails could live in a standing cornfield like this and never leave, and that can make for some tough hunting. But generally what happens is these deer bed in the woods, travel out, feed in these crop fields, and then travel back to their bedding area. If we can find a transition zone between feeding and bedding areas, we're going to have better chance for success. Now, farmers generally want you to hunt early in the season because they're getting crop damage by deer. And if you can find an area where deer are doing a lot of damage, it's easy to get permission on several farms. And that can set up a real good scenario because you can get several different tree stand locations on several different farms and give you a chess game effect to try to skip around and have the best success at harvesting a nice whitetail buck early season. Let's move down along the edge of the woods and see if we can't find a trail that links this cornfield with some heavy bedded cover. Whitetails normally follow the path of least resistance through the area. This little two-track tractor road leading from the cornfield through the woods to the green field behind me is loaded with deer tracks and probably a travel way for sure. There's a great trail leading right off of here that heads back into some thicker cover. I believe the deer are bedding over in here in this thick cover, coming out on this trail, hitting this road, and going whichever way they want to go to feed. Plus, we have white oak acorns as a good mass crop this year. These deer probably aren't only traveling, they're feeding all the way through. And once the farmer picks this cornfield, they'll be here eating on this mass crop because they dearly love white oak acorns. Now, early season whitetail strategy is to get between the bedding area and the feeding area. These deer aren't going 600 yards one way and back. So we want to try to find a spot up on a ridge where we can see, even though we have a lot of thick vegetation. And I've got a spot back here that we want to go to on a ridge that demonstrates that type of location. My first tree stand's about 200 yards to my right, and it's guarding a ridge. This stand is right next to an incredible trail right here that leads back into some thick brush. I think the deer are bedding back here in this brush. There's a little two-track farmer road that's about 100 yards up here that leads to the cornfield, and it works through the woods and ends up at some other feeding fields back here to my left. That's where I have my third tree stand location, right on that road. These three tree stands help me to sew up any deer movement coming out of this huge woods into those feeding fields. I think as a hunter, what you need to keep in mind is that these deer can move on any of these trails. And so it's like a chess game. We've got three different stands we can set up on based on the wind conditions or a gut feeling of where we think these deer are moving.
In early season, Tom uses the middle of the day to scout more prospective areas. With almost all of the deer activity taking place in morning and evening, he's careful to stay away from possible bedding areas. This way, he seldom spooks deer.
That's 3 deer so far, but no bucks.
The next morning, Tom is careful not to risk any chances and takes the extra measures to smell invisible. An extremely important practice in warm weather because warm air causes odors to disperse more freely. Tom also decides to try another stand. His new stand is about 200 yards inside the tree line. This time of year, bucks won't go into a field until dark, then leave that field before light. Tom plans to be there as the bucks move from their feeding grounds to the bedding area. After freshening up his scent wick, Tom finds he doesn't have to wait very long.
There's a buck. There's a buck working this way. Yes, yes. Oh man, did you see how he came in there? They're tough to see in this thick brush. Okay. Early season tactics. I knew they were using that trail, no doubt about it. This is the lucky stand. We'll give him a few minutes, and then we'll go find him. About 25 yards. Oh, here's the arrow. Good blood. Good blood. It's a good trail right here. He went this way. There's some blood right there. Scuffed leaves. He's coming right down through here. There he is, right there. Yeah! He's down. Okay, yeah! Nice buck. Early season whitetail. Yes. Boy, you don't hear him come in, that's for sure. Saw a little bit of antler moving through the brush, and then he pops out, feeding along, heading back to the bedding area. Location, location, location. That is the key to early season whitetail success. These deer aren't moving very far. They've got the groceries right there before the farmer picks the fields. This boy probably was in the soybean field all night and heading back to the bedding area.
Greg Miller is a hunter who is completely fascinated by the whitetail deer. His unique and insightful observations from a tree stand have enabled him to author many magazine articles and 2 best-selling books. Of course, he's managed to harvest some pretty impressive whitetails along the way. For Greg, every hunt is successful, regardless of the outcome.
Spray a little bit of this dominant buck urine on the decoy. That way, if a buck comes into the decoy, circles around, you not only get a visual stimulant, but when he circles to the downwind side of it, he gets a odorous stimulant from it too. It does confirm that this is really a live deer. Got a decoy set up here. It's about 7:30 in the morning. We already saw one buck on the way in, on the walk in. And just giving here buck action. Don't you dare knock my decoy over. Now he's posturing. This is posturing. He's trying to intimidate the decoy. You see the ears laid back. He's got his hair all fluffed out, which makes him appear bigger or larger. His sideways walk is an aggressive posture. Again, the ears laid back, very aggressive, licking the nose, rub urinating. They almost always circle to the head end of the decoy, like this. Backing towards the decoy, almost begging a confrontation. He wants to try and get this decoy to move. Scraping, another type of behavior we've seen these bucks do when they're interacting with the decoy. I'm sure it's another intimidation thing. They do anything and everything to try and get this decoy to move. They'll stay around for quite some time, trying to get that thing to move. Scraping, rubbing, grunting, the snort wheeze, which he did several times. It's all part of the game, so to speak. It's an aspect of buck behavior that is brought out by the decoy that you so rarely see at any other time in the wild. was exciting. I rattled that buck. He was in a cut cornfield about 150, 200 yards away. Got his attention. He came into the decoy. He came in just like he was supposed to. Everything in that regard worked to perfection. Just when he was coming within camera range, the arm on the camera broke loose, and we had to do a bit of a free-handing on the camera work, but we got some tremendous wild buck decoy interaction. We got the snort wheeze, we got the scraping. This is exactly what these deer do. About the only thing he didn't do was attack the decoy. That's fine, because now I don't have to get down and set it up again. He went about his business, and hopefully the next buck that comes by will be a little bigger. Kind of suspect something's going on down in that woods overhead. It did go on today, because we've seen about 3 different bucks, and now small bucks come out of there. There's probably a big buck tending a doe in there. There's a big boy. Big boy just walked out. Got a bunch of points busted off. Let me see if I can rattle him. That's our buddy. Got a big buck out there. We thought he was busted up at first, but getting a better look at him now. I'd say he's a 5x5, 20 plus inside. Just a brute of a deer. Just a brute of a deer. And he's walking towards us. But he's so far away yet. It's beautiful, beautiful deer. Big, mature whitetail. Man, I wish he'd come over here. But I don't think his girlfriend's going to leave that cornfield. Well, as so often happens in this sport, we've got a big deer out there a couple 100 yards away in that pick cornfield, and he isn't coming any closer. There's no way. We're going to run out of light before we find out if he ever would come closer. But that's just the way this sport goes. This happens a lot. You learn to accept it, and you also learn that there will be another day.
It's interesting to note that every deer that came to Greg's decoy circled downwind before moving in. Despite a convincing decoy, the rattling, and the grunting, the deer still trusted his nose more than he trusted his eyes and ears. Steve Puppe is no stranger to big woods in the northern tier of the country. From his days growing up in Minnesota to his current status on the Hunter Specialties Pro Staff roster, Steve has always specialized in finding big deer in big forests. His destination for this hunt is Bluff Country Outfitters in Wisconsin. He arrives on the same day that other hunters have started to taste success.
Boy, this is beautiful country. We're in Buffalo County, Wisconsin, and something that's really neat, this time of year you got all the foliage changing. It's pretty colors. You got greens, yellows, reds. It's the last week of October, and this morning it was 10 degrees out. Can you believe that? Last week it was 50 degrees, 10 degrees this week. Something about this country, it's big bluffs, big draws. I mean, there's more wildlife in this country than you can imagine. The bottoms of these hills are full of crops, the tops are full of crops. And the deer and the turkeys, they have everywhere in the world to go. Big whitetails don't always like to come out in the open fields. They like to travel in funnels When you find a chunk of woods leading from one big tract of woods to another tract of woods, these are good places to bottleneck whitetails down. Right here in the background, we've got a better one yet. We've got a third one that comes in, and where they come together, that's a good place to harvest your big whitetail buck. Whether I'm scouting or hunting, the last thing I want to do is I want to dress in the field and then spray down with scent away spray. Net on. I'm ready for Mr. Big. Okay. Coming down through the brush here. Worked right up and over. Offered me the perfect shot. He went down behind me here. Those are the kind of guys we like to let grow up. We'll probably come back and see him next year. Look for his daddy right now.
As much as Steve hoped, the little buck's biggest relative never made an appearance. However, after spending some time in that stand, Steve noticed another area close by that was seeing some heavy buck activity. One quick up-close check was all that Steve needed to change the location of his stand.
Boy, it really looks good in here. Man, a lot of sign. The reason I picked this stand right here is because these bucks, they come down off the ridge at night. They're going out to the field. They're checking for does out in that field, and they'll come down off this ridge, and right here, all this tall grass is a good staging area for them. They'll come down here, and they can kind of be hidden back here. Got a valley here and a hill on each side. And those bucks, when they come down here, they're staying hidden here. Nobody can see them from any roads. They like these kind of secluded areas. There's a lot of sign in here. There's a scrape line right here. So either they're coming down off the ridge or they're coming right down through, which is going to put them right underneath my stand. Look at here, I got a scrape right by my stand. You can actually kind of see the way they're traveling here. They've been pawing it out, which means they're coming down off the hill here. They're coming down this trail going to that field. You can look and see which way they've been pawing. That's telling you a little bit of their travel. Right above it, they got the licking branch here. And I'll tell you what, if a buck comes down and hits this scrape, he's within range of my stand.
Back.
very good shot on him. I might have clipped a little branch, but I think I heard him fall. I think yes. Oh, man. Oh, man. There he is. I tell you, man, that was really exciting. I'll tell you what, he come in and I caught him out of the corner of my eye. He was staring at me instantly. I mean, he had me pegged. I couldn't move. We couldn't get the camera spun around. Just had that stare down with him. The Halloween buck. And we've been hunting all week here. And I thought about that, you know, I need to get a deer on a Halloween. I've always had really good luck around the end of October. I'm up in the northern part of the United States. I'm in Wisconsin right now. And that rut starts to kick in. And like I said, I've always had real good luck right around the 30th, the 31st. Today's the 31st, it's Halloween. So we got ourselves a trick-or-treat buck here.
Alex Rutledge is another member of the Hunter Specialties Pro staff that built his outdoor reputation through turkey hunting. But while Alex has been making noise in the turkey woods, he's quietly been building a well-earned reputation as a deer hunter. Alex is hunting at rawhide camps in northeastern Kansas. His very first afternoon in his stand, he's visited by a beautiful buck that keeps himself just out of bow range.
That was a nice buck right there. From all that scouting we come in here and done, we selected to put our stand as the right spot. He come just like we thought he would, right off the ridge right here. Nice buck. But I tell you what, there's better bucks here where we're hunting. Well, he was a little bit too far to shoot, but I got confidence that we're going to get a nice one. Now that was a nice deer I passed up. We're only here, this is our second day that we're here. It's so windy, we can't hardly hunt out. Stand down at the bottom and that wind's switching back and forth. We're up here at the very highest point, and I'm still in the same area where that buck's that we just passed up. This is a great spot that we can set up an observation blind and see what we can see here. That way we can tell what the deer are doing. This is the spot right here. This way we can see down this ridge here and this ridge right here, and there's like a saddle right there. I bet they crossed down there. See all the way down there about 200 yards. I can see down there probably 300. It's a great spot. Unbelievable. You know, this is the kind of spot I'm looking for to hang my stand in. It's a narrow travel way for these deer. Look at this rub over here. That deer there is a tall deer. That's a big deer. There's another rub down there. What this buck's doing right here, he's doing what I call cruising the rim. These deer have to travel that, especially your does will probably travel that. And he'll come on the edge of this rim trying to win these does that's traveling through here. I'm gonna hang a stand here. There's no oak tree over there now. We'll take a look at it. These bucks are really working this traffic way. This is in his own scrapes. What we're going to do is aggravate him, think another buck has come in and took over. I can't wait to get back in here in the morning. I know this old buck's going to be mad. Nice buck, nice buck. Deer. It's been about an hour and a half since we shot the deer. There's my arrow right there. Look at the blood on the limb right here. It's starting to drizzle now. There he is right there. Look at him. Man, yes. Man. 10-pointer. I hit him in the neck like I thought he did. I've had an awesome week.
Not all big whitetail bucks are harvested in the most pristine and remote areas. Sometimes you need to uncover the places overlooked by other hunters. Eddie Salter sets out on a hunt in Ohio and ends up pursuing a whitetail in the most unlikely of places.
It's mid-November, and we're in Ohio, better known as the Buckeye State. But the Buckeye I want to see, hopefully, has got horns. You know, a lot of times I like to ease in, and what I want to help to eliminate is some of that human odor. What we got here is a boot pad that we're going to put on the boot. Boy, I know it's a lot of coons down here too, and deer is not going to be scared of coon urine. So hopefully that'll help mask some of that human odor in here, especially when it's damp. Okay, now when I first enter the woods, a lot of times I also like to fix up a drag trail. And I'm going to put some premium doe estrus on this drag trail. Boy, this is a good trail coming through here. These old deer have been working up and down here good. And it's just a little narrow funnel through here. And we got a trail here, we got a trail over there, and boy, this is some excellent sign. All right, this is perfect right here. What I'm gonna do is back away from this grave right here and make another mock scrape to make that buck think that another buck's coming in here trying to take over. And I'm gonna use some dominant buck urine in it. Let's see if I can find me a stick. Just want to clean out a spot right there. Put that magic scrape right down there. You want to make a little crevice in there, and that'll hold your scent in there. The next setup I like, since I've got this one in place and I got my stand right here, about 20 yards over here, I like to set up a wick with some 2 drops of Prime. Boy, this is perfect right here. We got another trail right here. We got a mock scrape set up over there. So what we're gonna do now is actually come in here and place a wick up here. We're gonna put some 2 drops of Prime. And one good thing about 2 drop, we use it for a call lure. It'll stretch out there about 400 yards and a deer can pick it up and they'll smell it. And hopefully he'll come in and won't be but 20 yards from a stand. Just like we said, 2 drops is all it takes. I like to use a little bit more myself. All right, we set. All we gotta do now is get in the stand. We got our lures out on these trails. All we gotta do is look for that buckeye buck. If you'll cut with it pulling back, I'm gonna just let it ease down a little bit. I don't want it to come completely down. You know, that's something a bow hunter should keep with him all the time, is a good saw. Where you can cut yourself some good shooting blades through there. And boy, that gerber good and sharp makes it a lot easier. One reason this place is so attractive is a thick cover in here. We got a soybean field, which is to my left down here. And then we got a big green patch right up here that's just been planted, and it's just a natural funnel through here. I know you think we're crazy because of the road situation and it's so loud, but we got a river right here to my left, and then we got a major 4-lane, and we ain't got but 50 yards where the river turns and kind of bottlenecks in here and then turns and goes out. So this is just a natural funnel. The deer, if they're gonna travel from one food source to the next, they got to come by here. So this is a perfect setup. Hopefully old big boy will come through here in a little bit. All right, Johnny comes the buck now. Johnny comes the buck. He's a shooter. I don't know if I went under him or over him or what, but he's still out there. Hope he may look back. I don't know if I'm cold or nervous. I think I'm more nervous than I am cold. I gotta settle down. If I don't, I'm gonna shake myself out of the tree. You know, he wasn't no Boone and Crockett by no means, but I still get pumped up. My old heart was just a fluttering. I said, calm down, Eddie Salter, calm down. But I believe that deer was standing right over somewhere. Yeah, here's my arrow right here. That deer was standing right here. Yes, that's what it was. He was a little bit further than I thought, and I shot right dead under. Well, I guess that's why they call it hunting.
In all of North America, there is one creature in particular whose name is synonymous with big game hunting. Those who hunt big bull elk in the mountain regions of the western United States often debate which is more thrilling, the hunt itself or the scenic backdrop where the drama unfolds. It was these mountains and their inhabitants that drew Wayne Carlton away from his native Florida. His enjoyment of elk hunting turned to burning passion, and through the years, his passion became so well documented, he has become known as a pioneer in elk hunting and game calling. On this adventure, Wayne will hunt with longtime friends Carman and David Forbes, owners of Hunter Specialties. Both Carman and David have well-established records of harvesting big wild turkeys and trophy whitetails. However, they arrive at New Mexico's beautiful Vermeo Park, each searching for their first bull elk.
Carman, the reason we stop at these water holes is there's not much water in this country. And these creeks, even though sometimes in the spring these creeks go down these bottoms, and we turkey hunt the same area. But what I'm trying to do is stop at these water holes because the elk are attracted to the water holes because there's no more anywhere else. And they'll come down these bottoms and feed. The grass is good here. And they'll come down at night and feed. So being in the afternoon like it is, it's almost 4 o'clock. I know the water hole's going to attract them, and I know this grass down here is going to attract them. So if I stop at these areas and call, then hopefully there's a chance that we'll hear one. But that's what I like to do on this.
Let them call back?
Yep. If we can hear one, then we play just like we do turkey. We just go set up and try to call him in. Let's get our stuff out of the truck. Let's go up on that knob where we can hear better. Let's just get all our stuff together.
Carman and Wayne can hear a distant bull bugling a response to Wayne's cow calls. They move in closer to the sound, and their uphill hike leads them to a clearing.
There's a big 5 by 6 up here. next point was pretty small. There's another one bugling over the hill.
While that bull was coming in, you could faintly hear the sound of another bull off in the distance. Wayne Carlton has hunted elk long enough to know a good bull when he hears one. He and Carman quickly set off to see what is waiting for them over the next ridge.
He's right by that tree. Shoot him now, he's moving.
Did I get him?
You hit him. Where's your holding at?
Right on his shoulder.
Okay, I heard it hit.
I saw him hunch.
Yeah, I saw it hit. You go up there and check. I don't see anything moving. His antlers are laying off to the side. Can you see him right in there, right? Okay, I don't see any movement at all. Pretty sure he's down. No movement at all. Okay, let's get over there. What do you think?
What an adventure. What an adventure.
You actually hit him good. Right here.
Was that where I hit him?
Yeah. Look at this. 6 by 7.
You're kidding. Woohoo! All that beat off.
Are they big dudes or what? Man,
What a day. What a hunt.
You know what, and it's just like turkey hunting. Being able to bugle from the road and get them bugling, even though it's gun season. And he wouldn't come to it because it had all those cows, but the call called him back out where we could see him. That was a good shot. Look how long he is from here to here.
Yes, he is.
Look at it.
Oh,
Huh? Is that okay?
isn't that wonderful?
Got a next one right there. 6 to 7. I don't know if we can find this or not. We'll have to look around for it.
They go down a whole lot harder than a turkey does.
Whew, they're big dudes.
Still inside Vermeil's boundaries, yet several miles away, David and his guide Jim Baker have so far been foiled by high winds and brief snow showers. With only 2 days remaining in the hunt, they catch a break from the weather. Now they're hoping to catch a similar break from the bulls, and they're hoping they can catch that break far from the beaten path.
Yeah, we're probably going to be going up, take a little hike up here to a place that's traditionally real good for bulls and elk in general, and we'll have to walk up about a mile, but we ought to do some good up here.
Tonight the wind appears to be in our favor, but I also noticed that we get a lot of wind current changing. And one of the things that we found in the whitetail market is that we figured out a way to really eliminate human scent. And a product that we've got is scent away spray. It really does, and it really does neutralize through a wetting action. And
Yeah, I'll try some of that. Anything to help on this elk hunting. They're real sensitive about their smell.
well, the thing that that we always want to do in the real high perspiration areas where we're going to sweat, and probably even after we get up on the mountain, we'll probably go ahead and probably respray like our armpit areas, our headband and our hats and things like this. But it's very, very important because I know with what we've been experiencing with the elk and the way the wind current plays an important factor into it, we found out in the whitetail market we've developed a scent elimination system all the way from washing your clothes to showers to antiperspirants to all kinds of things. And I think really in the elk market, as we learn what we're learning here while we're hunting with you, I think we can do the same thing with elk.
Well, that'd be great. Sure
Good.
help things out.
Why don't we go ahead and finish up and we'll get started up the trail.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the ridge we were working last night. We'll stop here in a minute and make a call just to see if we get some response. Let's move on up here and set up and try to call. Okay, sounds like you ought to be right up on that ridge top. Why don't you get in front of this tree right here and set up, and I'll start calling. You ready? Okay, I can see him. He's walking right in. Okay, he's right there. 5, 6 points. He looks just a little too small. Let's let him go. Let's let him go. Let's stop here a second. This is way high up here. It's about 9,500 to 10,000. We've been having bad luck with those elk coming out early, and hopefully, being up high like this, they'll come out a little earlier where it's cooler. But hopefully, we'll hear some out up here early and before things get way too late and too dark.
This appears to be very desolate, very kind of off on its own.
Yeah, that's what it's an isolated spot, and they really like it. And all these aspens and perfect elk habitat up here is usually real good. Let's give her one little call, see if we hear anything. Yeah. There's one that's early too. Come on, let's go get in position up there. Dave, this looks like a pretty good spot. Let's just set up here. Why don't you get right up here and get comfortable? I'll get behind you and we'll just get ready and wait a little while here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Dave, we'll make a call from time to time just to see if we get any action. We've been hearing some way up there, but we need to have some a little closer. Yeah, they're answering pretty quickly. That's a good sign. We'll wait a few minutes here. You see him? You see him, Dave? He might be coming around to us. Pretty nice looking elk. His antlers come up above his withers here. Pretty nice bull, Dave. Yeah, he's starting to move off to the left a little bit now. He's behind that tree now. You could probably move now if you wanted to get in position. Come on. Okay, now I can see him. You sure he's big enough? Okay.
see him drinking, but his back's to me. There he's turning. There he's turning. Okay, I want to take him now.
I think you got him. I didn't see him go down, but he acted hard hit. A little nerve-wracking. Jeez.
That's unbelievable.
Here he is, Dave. Here he is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, heck.
All right.
He's down. Yeah, you set your gun down. Boy, that is one nice elk.
Whew.
That is one
That
nice
is all
bull.
right. Look at that.
Good old
Yes.
heavy antlered bull.
Oh,
Congratulations, buddy.
thank you. That is
Finally, after
tremendous.
all this time.
My first elk. All right.
Kept having bad luck, but it was finally bound to change.
You know, we saw so many bulls, and none of them appeared to be big enough.
Yeah,
And you
this
said,
is
just hang on.
this is a good one to take, boy. This is a real. He's on. I think he's probably an old bull on his way downhill.
Oh, but he's
Great
heavy,
elk.
He's got mass. Oh, he's wonderful. Thank you.
It's a great elk.
Thank you very much. Tremendous. All right.
When it comes to habitat designed to grow big whitetails, the state of Iowa was made to order. A variety of natural food sources, agricultural areas, and plenty of hardwood cover make a surefire recipe for big Midwestern bucks. It's Alex Rutledge's first deer hunt in Iowa, but it doesn't take him long to find a familiar scenario.
This is our hunting situation. We have a primary trail coming out of that mouth right over there. And up on that mouth on the hill over there is clover. Over here we have a hollow that leads back into some main oaks. And behind us, uncut corn. Above the uncut is pasture, which is young grass, and above the young grass is cut corn. This is an excellent spot. As you can see over here, we've already got our stands hung. What we're hoping to do with a dominant north wind blowing to the hillside, these deer coming in from here, from the left and across here, will catch scent from a drag rag that I'm going to drag in here. Then I'm going to hang it right over here on this small tree out in front of the stand. I'll drag it from over there back to here. Therefore, the deer that comes into here or from here will catch the scent and go to it. This is going to be a great spot. When making these drag lines like this, using premium doe estrus, I like to stop like every 20 yards and freshen up my drag rag. Therefore, the scent will be stronger going back to where your drag rag is going to be hung, and therefore the deer won't be going the wrong way. With that wind blowing like this, these deer that come in here will catch scent of it. They'll kick back off of those hills and they'll come investigate. Should do it. My stands here, the deer come in, the wind's dominant that way, kick it back off the hills. The deer comes in here from over here, will smell it, then they'll come in and investigate it. They'll bird dog it. The does are holding up in that corn. The deer really like to concentrate on that food source or that corn. I'd say even the does are even bedding in there, and that's why these bucks are cruising this, trying to find them does. they're all funneling, going right into that corn or traveling in it. Not so much funneling, but going right into the corn. There's a buck coming off the hill over there right now. He's got the deformed horn or something running behind his head or something. He's got something wrapped around his neck and his head, and it's holding his ears back. You see all kinds of things out here hunting. How often you gonna see that? Look at him, he's running back over towards the corn now. I hear something over here behind me, over towards the corner. It's a buck, and he looks like a shooter. Oh, we hit the top of the limb. I had to squat down like this. When I drawed, the top of my wheel hit the limb. I can't believe it. That was a good deer. I was just crowded for the shot.
The northern reaches of the Whitetail's range is the home to what can best be described as all-out brutes. The Canadian province of Alberta is where many of these incredible trophy bucks come from. It is also where Tom Miranda joins with friend and outfitter Ron Nemechek for a late-season hunt. Tom is guided by Al Pratt, who quickly shows Tom some tantalizing deer sign.
Yeah, it is a rub. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Big telephone pole he's been rubbing on. That's pretty decent.
That is real decent.
He's a fairly decent buck. He's got rubs all the way up the top here.
Oh, that is
Unreal.
That's taller than I am.
That's taller than both of us are. You bet.
Now, there's more poles down here. Are they rubbed like this too?
Yeah, they are. They are really rubbed up like that. That is really something to see something like that around.
Well, these woods are really thick in here.
Really thick.
Deer are living in there?
These deer are living in that woods right there. Well, probably what we'll do is we'll get you set up in here for the morning or the evening hunts or whatever. And like the deer we've been seeing have been coming out and field your stands just right behind these poles here. So we hope to get a big deer out of here for you. Let's walk on over here and we'll just check this. I see there's a fresh scrape right on over here. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he's been really working that scrape this morning. You can see that. Like there's a lot of action been around here. Trees rubbed on there over there.
Trail there, trail
over
there.
here. Lots of deer signed.
Coming right towards the stand,
Coming right towards the stand, you bet. Looks good.
Looks real good.
We'll definitely have you sitting in here this evening.
Perfect. Let's go take a look at the stand.
Okay. These are the kind of stands we hunt out of here at North River Outfitting, Tom. They're a basic four-leg stand. They got a tarp around them. You're elevated off the ground so the deer doesn't catch your scent when you're sitting in them. They've got heaters in them. Windows so that you can see out of 4 different sides. Basically, this is the field here where you're going to be hunting out of, like where the deer come out of. There's another field in behind this one here also, where the deer do feed out of in the mornings, whatever, and they funnel down through this smaller field. And they also, like in the evenings, they come out of this big woods back here, and they funnel down into this smaller field and then head out to the bigger field toward later evening.
Well, the whitetail sign around this crop field is incredible. Scrapes and rubs everywhere. Al had set up some primetime luring stations on the perimeter before placing the stand, and the deer were hitting them. And his stand location was perfect. A crosswind prevailed with heavily used field access trails within 100 yards of the stand, easy shooting distance. For the first evening's hunt, I sprayed down with scent-away spray and climbed into the stand and started a series of grunting and rattling combinations. About an hour before dark, a cow and calf moose show up 250 yards out. And as darkness falls, I've yet to see my first northern Alberta whitetail buck. Okay, stands are actually pretty comfortable, and they're elevated with a carpeted platform which keeps it quiet in here. The elevation keeps our human odor up off the ground, plus gives us a good field of view. It's hard to believe that these deer are actually rubbing telephone poles, isn't it? And that's right behind the stand right here. In Canada, you need to dress for the weather, and I've got the Cabela's Whitetail Extreme suit on. It's the bibs and the parka, and that's going to keep me warm no matter what. But you also have to think about your head, and of course I have my favorite, actually Good Luck Primetime hat on, so I'm just pulling a stocking cap over to keep that body heat up here. Also, I'm just wearing regular bead palm gloves, so I have a good feel on my rifle, and these aren't going to keep me warm enough, so I've got a muff here that I can actually put my hands in when I'm not using my binoculars or rattling or grunting. I use these hot hands warmers, and what you do is tear this open and kind of rub that little pack together. We'll stick it inside here, and it creates heat, and that also helps to keep your hands warm, and that's nice. For a rifle, I'm using a 270. It's a good caliber for whitetails. A pair of binoculars here. Let's see if we can't rattle us in a buck. You know, many times bucks will grunt every step when pursuing a doe. And my philosophy on this hunt was to do a 5-minute grunting sequence every half hour, followed by a short burst of rattling. The weather was cold, but unseasonably warm for northern Canada, and no snow, an apparent phenomenon of El Nino. Heavy frost laid on most of the trees, giving an eerie look to the landscape. And right at 10:30 on day 2, I see my first Alberta buck across the field, apparently trailing a doe. There's a buck. He's about 300 yards out. Man, he looks like a nice one. He's after a doe. He's got his nose right to the ground. I could probably take him when he stops. It's pretty far out. Oh man. He's out there. It's my hopes the buck continues closer, but he walks into the bush. A doe walks out minutes later as I continue to grunt. And as darkness falls, more deer materialize out of the woods, but none close enough for a good shot. On day 3, I sat the stand all day and saw nothing. Reflecting on the sign I'd seen earlier, the bucks have to be here. I just need to be patient. But it's not hard to second guess when you have so much time to think and look at landscape. Yes, there's a lot of sign, but is this the place I need to be? Because 2 fields over, 2 bucks could be fighting and I wouldn't even know it. The weather is still warm, it's just not cooperating. What do? Do you move? Do you stay? Everything goes through your mind. And then, just before dark, there's a buck. Appearing out of nowhere, 80 yards from the stand, a northern Alberta whitetail with doe in tow. There's a buck right here. He just came out of the bush right there. It's a nice buck. Yes, he's down. He's down. Oh, he came right into that grunting. Had a doe with him. Oh. Incredible. Exciting. My first Canadian whitetail ever. Let's go see him. Yes, he's down. Yes. All right, look at this buck. Look how big this buck is. Northern Canadian whitetail in Alberta. Athabasca, Alberta whitetail. Yes. Came right into the grunting and rattling. Come out of the thick bush here just before dark. It's gonna get dark on us pretty quick here, but look at all the frost on all the bushes. It's been real frosty here. We haven't had any snow, and that's unusual for this part of the country. Real cold. You gotta have your cold weather gear on to stay out all day, and that's what it takes to wait on these big boys to come by. Look at the size of this buck. Beautiful.
Hunter's Specialties Pro staffer Bob Foulkrod is renowned for taking trophy whitetails in all regions of North America. His knowledge and intuition have made him one of whitetail hunting's leading authorities. On a recent hunt in Mississippi, Bob finds himself in a difficult situation. He's hunting in an area that has already been visited by several hunters. However, it's the peak of the rut in Mississippi, and there's always a slight chance the bucks may have lowered their guard.
First day out, I like to do that. I like to see how they respond to grunt tubes, especially hunting in an area where everybody else is on it. What a great morning. I had no idea. We must have seen over a dozen bucks. Boy, what a setup. Right between two waters. You got food plot on the other end. You got acorn trees. Besides the ruts going on. Yes. Yes. Well, oh, he ran, what, 20 yards? Oh, man, what a buck. I tell people, always wait after you kill a buck. Give yourself, for him time to go lay down and do his thing. Well, give yourself time to get your composure back together again so you don't fall out of the darn tree stand. That's why I want to wait. Oh, that is just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look at that buck. Look at the faces on top. 10, and a little sticker. Coming down through them woods, I just said, man, don't look at them horns. I thought he was going to go past us, and then he came down, he hooked his horns, and he looked right, looked right in my eye. I closed my eye. I can't believe that. That is just a super, super, super buck.
During the height of the chasing season, the one thing you can count on a buck doing is being unpredictable. Steve Puppe arrived in Kansas at a time when bucks held their noses down and kept does in sight. Steve spent the week hunting in a variety of stands, always to see good bucks just beyond shooting range. He was finally able to focus his attention to a very small funnel. However, this funnel held very little tree growth with no place to hang a stand. Steve was able to adapt to the situation and quickly fashioned a ground blind in the area where the bucks were traveling.
Minutes to 10 right now. Well, I tell you, during the rut, some of your best activity is going to be in the middle of the day. I've seen a lot of deer. A lot of our bucks this whole week has been at 10 o'clock in the morning. They bedded down up by that little grass patch. Oh man, there's a buck right there, right there. Oh man. Get it together here. Yes. Looks like I got a vital shot on him. Man, I can't believe it. I was sitting there watching that buck and the doe up on that hill. This one come in. I got caught with my pants down. Tried to draw and I let my arrow fly off. I had to get it back up, knocked again. I redrew. Man, I am so excited. Whew. There it is right there. Looks like I got a good complete pass-through. Sure glad I found it. That's part of a good recovery. Yes, there he is. All right. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I can't believe it. This thing caught me so off guard this morning. I was sitting up there watching another buck. He had a doe up on the hill. All of a sudden, he was standing right in front of me. He was walking through. I grabbed for my bow. I tried to get my release on my arrow. My arrow fell off. I can't believe it. I had to get my arrow. He got behind some cedar stuff. It all worked out. I got drawn on him, and I did it. Double lung. Can't believe it. Oh my God. This is his corridor, which is his travel right. His travel road.
I'm an hour.
There definitely are some big bucks here in Illinois. This hunt would have been a lot more complete, though, had my fat little buddy Alex Rutledge been here with me. But Alex, I believe, is in Iowa, and there are some whopper bucks that might be in big trouble. Alex, we wish you the best of luck, but get that tree stand higher, buddy.
Yeah, what'd I do with the bottle?
We've got some Boone and Crockett's right here. Look at this one. We got some real good ones.
So I'm supposed to say what?
Go ahead, wherever you're in.
Oh. Was I excited? Did I look excited?
Yeah, that was better.
Maybe if you talked about Kevin Costner, I'd get excited.
Hey, Alex, are you cold?
I'm freezing my off.
Do it again.
You'll come investigate. Yeah, I'll have to get down the tree and get Miranda back.
Damn, I lost a tooth. If you don't hurry up and get me to Grandma's, I'm gonna starve to death.
It don't matter what part of the country you're in, you still need to do a lot more scouting a lot of times than you do hunting and trying to select that perfect stand size.
Send away spray.
Squish you like a bug.
Yeah.
Let's run on down to Iowa and see how Alex Rutledge is doing.
I'm freezing my off.